Welcome everybody to the Dan Sports Tip baseball preview for the 11th of April. Not such a great night last night. We had a little bit of luck. We got out of jail with the late run for Baltimore to give us a push on that one. Washington scored some late runs for us as well, and everything else was pretty blur really. We had Kansas City won by only a run. They just weren't getting on the board. It has to be said that a couple of guys that we opposed in Ricky Nolasco and Vance Worley were particularly good. Certainly Nolasco was excellent last night. We'll maybe oppose him one more time, and if he's good again, we might have to take a step back from him. We hope for a lot better tonight. There's a lot of plays tonight, including a couple that I love. So let's move on to today's game and onwards and upwards. I mean, the season record at this point stands at 16, 32 and 5. We're still showing a profit of 15.14 points on the thread on the show. So yeah, it's not all bad. The Pittsburgh Pirates at Detroit Tigers. Justin Verlander goes again for Detroit tonight. In the first start of the season, he was excellent. He only allowed runs in the 6th inning. He was throwing a no-hitter up to the point where it sort of fell apart a little bit. And he has an excellent record in interleague games. And obviously, the Pittsburgh Pirates from the National League will be playing in Detroit of the American League tonight. John Neese will start for Pittsburgh. We know what he is. He's a known quantity for us. He's got a 4+ ERA on his career and is at best an average pitcher. He's a left-handed pitcher facing a lineup full of right-handed power hitters, and he looked shaky in his first start for the Bucks with 5 earned runs in 5 innings pitched. He's got a 4.83 ERA when he faces the American League in interleague play, which is slightly higher than his usual career ERA, and I'm happy to take Detroit tonight on the run line. They're a decent price with Sky Bet, and let's hope that we get off to a good start tonight. Baltimore and Boston. David Price is up tonight for Boston at Fenway. He's a pitcher who's excelled at Fenway Park for his career. He's got a 6-1 record there, obviously as a visiting pitcher up till now, and I believe he will show his worth for the massive contract he signed to the Red Sox faithful today. He was his usual excellent self on his debut with 2 runs allowed in 6 innings pitched and 10 strikeouts. He'll face Giovanni Gallardo. Now, Gallardo himself has been very good when he's faced Boston in the main, but he isn't a pitcher that I like to trust that often because he's not the most consistent around. It would be a little bit of concern to us that the Red Sox were shut out yesterday, but the offense had been firing prior to that, and I'm going to prepare to put it down as a one-game blip. It's probably time for the Orioles to lose a game. They're the last unbeaten team in baseball, and I think that game could be against David Price tonight. I'll certainly take Boston on the run line, and another bet that I really like. I mean, I've discussed many times that Baltimore are a lineup full of power hitters who strike out a lot, and David Price is usually in the top 5 pitchers of baseball when it comes to strikeouts. Paddy Power offering David Price to strike out 9 or more batters, and the Boston win at 9-5 tonight. I think that's a knocking bet, so we'll have a decent play on that one. The Atlanta Braves going to the capital to face the Washington Nationals today. Bud Norris is going to pitch for Atlanta, and as they say, you can take Bud Norris out of Camden Yards, but sadly you cannot take Bud Norris out of Bud Norris. He struggled massively last year when starting for Baltimore, gave up a lot of home runs, and was ultimately released and spent the rest of the year pitching in San Diego in relief. April is historically his worst month with an ERA over 6, and he's had 4 appearances the last 3 years against the Washington Nationals. Only one of those was a start, but he is 0-1 with an ERA over 11 in those games. He did pitch very well his first start of the year against Washington, but was still on the losing end 3-1. Max Scherzer will pose for Washington. He's their ace. He's their #1 guy. He's a top-end pitcher. He allowed 2 runs, both on home runs against the Braves last time. Now, the Braves have been scoring runs, but not against starters of the calibre of Max Scherzer. Scherzer is 1-0 with a 2.77 against the Braves in recent years, and the Braves lineup this year is nothing like as strong as it has been in years gone by. All we need to hope with this one again is that the Nationals bullpen can hold it together down the stretch once Scherzer leaves the game. They certainly have the power in their lineup to put up crooked numbers at any point against Bud Norris, and the Braves pen has also just another arrow in our bow, if you like, another string to our bow, should I say, is that the Braves bullpen has blown a lot of leads this year. So even if Norris does turn up and pitch well, we have got a chance against the Atlanta relievers. I'm certainly willing to take Washington on the run line, and I'm going to buy a few runs for a bigger price just in case it's a blowout, like there's a distinct possibility it could be as well. Another game that's going to be a big game for us today is going to be the Boston one and this one, the Seattle Mariners and the Texas Rangers. Texas come into Seattle today. It's a matchup of two pitchers with very differing fortunes against the opposition. Hisashi Iwakuma will pitch for the Mariners. He's had incredible success against Texas, going 8-1 with a 3 ERA in 12 starts, and is 6-0 in his last 8 against Texas. Colby Lewis is pitching for Texas. He is a pitcher I like to oppose. He has had issues with the long ball as well, giving up some homers, and he'll face a pretty good 3 in the heart of the lineup of Kyle Seager, Robinson Cano and Nelson Cruz. Cruz led the league in home runs 2 years ago. I think he was second to Chris Davis last year. Hasn't really got going this year. Now obviously it's not a great park for the hitter Seattle to hit a home run. It is a pitcher's ballpark, but Colby Lewis is 1-4 with a 5 ERA in his last 7 starts against Seattle. Certainly I'm willing to take Seattle on varying run lines, and also Kyle Seager has hit a couple of home runs off of Colby Lewis in his career, so I'm willing to have a play on Kyle Seager to hit home run and Seattle to win the game with Paddy Power as well. I was looking to play the Cubs, but unfortunately there's no run lines up on that game at the moment as I'm recording this. John Lester looks a pretty good thing in that matchup tonight. I think the Cubbies look set to get the win. I also was hoping to play the White Sox. Jose Quintana, consistent as ever, underrated. I thought was a good looking price, but Kyle Gibson has pitched the White Sox very well as well. So there's a couple of strong plays there. Certainly we need Boston and Seattle to come through for us, or the day looks lost, so to speak. So I think we've got enough on the board, and we'll leave the plays at that, and I will see you all tomorrow. Best of luck if you're having a play ball.